BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Next on the Bronx Journal, Bill Bernick and Clara Farber, authors of the book Brand Guys. Orlando Tobon, immigrant community representative. Alien Hill, band member Luis Baerga, and Manny Lantigua, CEO of Antojitos y Monadas.
This is the Bronx Journal, the television edition of the online multilingual community newspaper. Published by the students and faculty of the Journalism, Communication, and Theater Department at Lehman College. On the internet, on the radio, and on television, the Bronx Journal covers the issues concerning the people of the Bronx.
Hello and welcome to the Bronx Journal. I'm Halsey Paula. Is it possible to find the perfect man? Maybe not. But if you're dating, you know that you try to find your perfect match, or at least the closest match possible. Here with us to give us a little help with that are the authors of Brand Guys. Find which type of brand guy is best for you and find the love of your life. This is a book based on dozens of life experience that tries to break it all down into 10 type of brand guys. Welcome Bill Bernick and Clara Farber.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
It's our
Thank
pleasure.
you. It's our
Elsie.
pleasure.
The question that we want all the answer for. What is this book about?
Brand Guys is all about helping women find the love of their life, essentially.
So who came up with this idea? It's very unique. The book is very funny. So who came up with this unique idea?
You know, we came up with it together through our work that we do, because we do brand marketing.
Right.
And a couple different things happened at the same time. One thing happened in a focus group, some other things happened in workshops. And it occurred to us that if you know the brands that a guy uses, you know a lot about that guy.
A woman in a focus group told us that on, let's say, the fifth date, I'm not sure if it's the fifth date, fourth date, she'd go back to the guy's apartment and she would excuse herself to go to the bathroom. And then she would close the door and she would then go through his medicine cabinet and under his sink. And she'd go frantically looking through all the stuff he had. And some women actually would write down the names of all the different products. And we were sitting on the other side of the glass and we sort of perked up when we heard that, and we said, go ask her, why is she doing that? Like, what is she after? What is she looking for? And she said that she wanted to get a better idea of who this guy really was before something happened, you know, let's say, and maybe something wouldn't happen if she got the wrong idea, et cetera. And who knows, maybe she would get an idea of what personality she was thinking of and what made him up and that sort of thing.
So based on the things a guy has on his bathroom, that defines his personality?
It's not just the bathroom, it's the bathroom, and it's the kitchen, and it's what's in the garage,
Right.
and
His
it's
car.
what's in his closet, what kind of clothing he wears. If you think about all the different things that we buy or that we use in a day, every time we make a purchase, we buy a brand, we're making a choice, right? A choice about what we're comfortable with, a choice about how people are going to see on us and associate with us, and so that choice tells us something about what's important to
So
us.
what if the guy doesn't have toothpaste on his bathroom?
What if he doesn't have toothpaste?
Yes.
Well, that tells you something right
bad
there.
sign.
You know,
That's
it
a
might be a
bad
long night, actually. You know, well, then you're looking for maybe some other cleaning products. You know, maybe he has denture cleanser. Who knows?
Maybe.
He might not
Let's
be that old.
hopefully.
But mostly, what you're saying, like, we'll give you an example. The first woman actually told us that she found the big 1,000-count box of Q-tips. And turns out that it wasn't like he was a clean freak or OCD. He just liked having them as a tool. And because we asked a bunch of guys, why'd you have so many Q-tips? And it was so that he could clean between the keys of the computer and he'd use it as a tool. Some guys attached it to a drill, you know, so you could really get in there and clean everything. And he used it to put together, you know, model kits and stuff. There are guys that actually still do that, even though they're in their 30s and everything. And it told us a lot about his personality. He liked being organized. You know, he was the guy that would do the woman's taxes for her. Or he would also do windows, you know. So he actually was a good bet. We thought he was a good bet for marriage. You know, very organized, clean as a whistle all the time, you know. But, you know, just a, sort of like a good guy, like sort of like a good bet if you're thinking of the long run for the guy.
What would be the negative side of that guy?
Oh.
It sounds
Well, we
right
do-
now it sounds perfect.
Honestly, in every chapter in Brand Guys, we go through the pros and the cons. And it's not so much that there's a con, it's a matter of whether it's a negative for you. So in other words, this guy, for instance, okay, who's very organized, for someone like me, that's wonderful because I am really disorganized. I love the
Not for
idea.
you, right?
Yeah. But for
Okay.
somebody else, someone who's so organized that could drive them crazy, right? So you know that old expression of like there's a pot for every kettle, one of those expressions. There's no good or bad about a guy. It's just different aspects about him. And for one woman, it could be wonderful. And for another woman, it's not what
Drive
you're
them
looking
crazy.
for. Right, it would drive you crazy. And that's actually what we're, part of the purpose of Brand Guys. It's to help a woman understand all these different things, what you consider the positives and the negatives, because what's good for one woman isn't good for another woman.
So why you decided to write this book?
Well, for me, I really want to help women find good relationships. I think dating is really difficult. I think it's very, very hard to find a guy that's really suited to you. And the typical way of doing it, you think someone's cute, so you go out with them. It takes so long to really get to know what a guy's all about. So I was really motivated by trying to help women find love. And if you could just make the cycle shorter to help them understand much more quickly, to learn quickly what a guy is like, I thought that would be a wonderful thing. And for you?
Bill.
I was in it for that reason as well, not as much as she says. But Brand Guys grew out of a great marketing idea, which is a guy buys who he is. It's his brand. If he's driving a Chevy, like we have a guy called Bud Guy. He's one of our favorite brand guys. He's all American. It's got to be a Chevy. It's got to be Lay's potato chips. It's got to be Budweiser, of course. You'll find him in a bowling alley. Can't get much more American than that, right? But I thought, boy, that's really kind of fun. It's sort of a fun thing to try and find out first, well, what products are we talking about here? And then match them up with who the guy was. And it helped us out in our business. I mean, it was something that we thought, gee, that's an interesting way to determine, well, who are we talking to? Because the hard part of advertising and what we do, branding, is how do you talk to people? Do you really got to talk to them knowing who they are, what they're thinking about? We always say, try and walk around in their shoes a little bit, you know? And this was kind of a good way to figure out what was this guy all about.
As a man, what would you tell those men who might find this book offensive?
Well, I think if you get into it, first of all, we wrote it so that it was funny. We had fun writing it. I think men will enjoy reading it. I'm not sure if men will take it as seriously as women might take it, but it's not stereotyping. It's not typecasting. It's more about a guy is proud of his brand. He wants to be Beamer guy. That's another brand guy that we talk about. He
Tell me a
likes his
little bit about him.
BMW, right? And he wants to be the corporate killer. The guy that takes over the presidency when he kills the president. That kind of, I don't mean of the United States. I mean of
the
his
corporation.
company. Right, exactly, right. And it's sort of, that's the way a guy can identify himself. It's hard. When you're on a date, you're trying to think of the right things to say. You're trying to impress somebody, but you also want to be a little bit realistic. We think if the woman sort of knows what the guy is about, either she'll be into it or she's not. And if she's not, well, the date's over anyway. But if she is, I think it's better that way. It's a little bit easier on the guy also, because he's not having to sell himself so hard, which...
Yeah, I mean, I think of it as if we can get a woman to want to go after a certain brand. She reads the book, let's say she reads Brand Guys, she figures out which the top 2 or 3 brand guys are that might appeal to her. She goes after them, there's less trying to change someone involved. If you've made a decision, oh, I like these characteristics, this is good for me. And I think it's hard for a guy when women keep trying to change them. You know, so we look at it as it's not just good for the woman, it's good for the man in the end too to find a better suited relationship.
So why you guys decided to write about brand guys instead of brand girls?
Well, there's a good reason for that, actually. Women are better shoppers in that they will try things out, and now if a brand is not working, all of a sudden they just go to another brand. Whereas men, once their dad tells them, this is your brand of shave, or I want you to use Old Spice, they stick with it until they're dead. I mean, it's amazing how stubborn guys can be. If you take away, like when they got rid of that dog that used to advertise Budweiser, the little whatever he was, Air Bud.
Yeah.
The guys, they didn't even want to buy the stuff anymore. They were so upset because that's the brand, that's the one that they knew. And they don't want to change brands. So women, good shoppers, they'll try anything, they'll be open. Men, rotten shoppers, and you know, it's just that it's easier to identify brands for men because they stick with them. And you could sort of say, yep, that brand when he's 10 years old is going to be that brand when he's 80. And you always know what it's going to mean. And he likes it. Like I said, they're proud of their brands. You know.
Yes, I'm Beamer. Yes, I am the best
Exactly.
guy.
You've seen a guy in a Beamer before. You know, he's
course.
driving slowly,
We know
slow
all those
enough.
guys. Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, and he also wants a certain woman at his side. So that woman should know what she's getting into. You know, what kind of a guy he's going to be. You know.
One question.
Yeah.
Does a perfect guy exist?
Well,
It's the perfect guy for you is the issue. For every woman, there is a perfect guy. So Brand Guys is trying to help you find and get closer to finding the perfect guy for you. There is, I mean, what's good for one person, just how we said, someone organized is great for me, it would drive you crazy. So this is about, it's about finding perfection for you.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
about learning about yourself, figuring out what brand guys could make you happy, figuring out, you know, what kinds of relationships make you happy, and then empowering you to go out and find your brand guy. Because in the book we have things like where to find him. So we have a Tom's of Maine guy, for instance. You might find him in a yoga studio or in a hiking club. You know, a BMW guy, you might find him at a BMW showroom or at a car rally. Or a celestial seasoning could also be yoga, but it could be Whole Foods. You know, so
Right.
it's that kind of thing. So
Right.
we give you the clues and hints of where to go to find the kind of guy that would make you happy.
sure.
Is it possible to assign one type of brand guy to each guy? And what's your type of brand guy, Bill? Yes. So
Well,
that's secret. Nobody's gonna know. It's a secret between us three.
I think I'm generic brand guy. Actually, I'm not really sure. We have talked about this. I don't know if we were able to sort of tag me that way. I like to think we have a guy called Mac Guy. He's one of our brand guys, and he likes getting gadgets and, you know, the iPod and the iPad and all that other stuff. And obviously he uses Mac, but it's more than that. He likes to be up there on music, and part of my job in advertising is to find really great music that you can use for commercials and stuff. So I like to think that's who I am. I'm not exactly sure that's who I am, you know.
I would say Bill is a Mac guy if you had to put him in, you know, pick his main thing.
She's a Mac
and
guy.
to answer your question, I would say that most men have a major, it's kind of like in college we have a major and a minor. Most guys have a dominant primary single brand guy. And then you have a characteristic of a second brand guy often. So he's primarily Mac, and he's got secondary, and we might agree or disagree about what his secondary is.
Right.
So if our audience wants to find a little bit more about this book,
Yeah.
where can they find information?
Well, we have a website called brandguys.org. We are on YouTube. We have 10 little films about our brand guys, each for one brand guy. We're on Facebook, so it'll be Facebook/brand guys. And am I
We're
forgetting
available
anything?
on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
And,
Go on Amazon and buy the book.
Oh yeah, you go to Amazon and buy the book. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's hope
Brand
so.
guys.
You already know if you like to read something, then you could buy the book just for fun. If you're trying to find your perfect prince, then Brand Guy is the best book for you. Well, don't move from your seat, because coming right back with more of the Bronx Journal.
Hey, how's it going?
Sir, are you okay?
What? Oh, this? It's probably nothing. I'm sure it'll go away.
Go away. Sir, that can't be good.
No, it's cool. Really.
Do you want a napkin or something?
Everything's fine. Thanks.
You wouldn't ignore this. So why ignore the signs of a stroke? At the first warning signs, call 911 immediately, because time lost is brain lost.
Welcome back to the Bronx Journal. My name is Chrissy Padilla. When you hear the term rock music, what comes to mind? We think of people screaming, dancing, crowd surfing, lyrics of love, hate, and tragedy. But what we don't realize is that rock music is also another form of expression and an outlet to many. On our show, we'll learn how music has helped and become a career for Louis Barriga, the lead member of Alien Hail. Louis and the band want to bring back the true essence of rock music to the Bronx community. Louis Barriga, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here. I actually want to start off by how you actually got started in rock music. When did you first start playing music?
When it was in 2007, I just got dumped by this girl, and I wanted to play guitar after that, basically.
So it was pretty much a heartbreak, and now you kind of wanted to play guitar.
Yeah, like I always wanted to do it my whole life, but then I was just like, okay, you need to do something, so.
So besides guitar, do you do anything else? Do you sing? Do you play other instruments?
Yeah, I play a little bit of drums and bass and sing, but I mean, most people in rock bands can do all that, so.
So a jack of all trades. But how did you learn? Were you self-taught? Did you have a mentor? YouTube? What was your outlet?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much taught myself. My dad got me like this. He got me my first guitar for Christmas, like right after all this happened, and it came with this thing of chords. So I just started practicing those chords, and little by little, he picked it up. And I watched a little bit of YouTube, and I got some lessons here and there, and put all that together.
Now, what was the defining moment where you decided, hey, I want to turn this hobby into a career?
I think it was at my first concert, to be honest. I went to see this band Silverstein. I think it was 2008, and they rocked the show. It was amazing. They had all these lights, and just the way the crowd was responding to them, and they were singing all this really heartfelt stuff, and I was just like, damn. That's what I want to do.
That's where you wanted to be.
I want to be there,
So you played guitar. You started singing too. What was the process like when starting a band? Was it hard to find members and coming together?
It was tough.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, basically, when you first start a band, especially when you're in high school, you don't really know very much about how to go about it. So I just went to my best friends and said, hey, Justin, he's like my best friend since I was little. You want to be the vocalist in my band? And this other kid who I knew played guitar for like 5 months, I asked him to be in my band, and we started playing together, but it didn't really sound like very much. It's pretty bad, actually, but I mean. Yeah.
Well, how many people were in the band? Was this before Alien Hail?
Yeah, this was my first band. The first name of it was called Windermere, because my friend Mike lives on Windermere Drive, and that was the best name that we could come up with. And it was just me, Mike, Justin, and originally he was actually the drummer. I forgot about that. And I was the vocalist, me and Towndro, and it was just us three. And then eventually we found my friend Anthony Ford, and the rest is history, I guess.
Now, the name Alien Hail is pretty interesting. How did that come about?
Damn, am I allowed to talk about that on TV?
Well, were you just writing music and it came about, or?
Well, that other band I was telling you about eventually became Listen for Lions, and we were a whole thing for a while, and that didn't work out. So eventually we broke up, but I still had this, urge to do music, and I had all these things written. And so I started this band. Well, I didn't even really start a band yet. I started writing more of my own stuff, and then me and the bassist from the other band, Towndro, we just kind of started writing together. And eventually we needed a name so we could do something. So we just came up with the name Too Many Aliens, which is like a lyric out of a song that I like. But that was kind of stupid. And then after a while, I was hanging out with my friend Justin, and he was saying that we should inhale like aliens.
That's interesting.
And so we would do an Alien Hail.
That's cool. That's different. That's really unique.
I thought that was an awesome band name, so.
So you became Alien Hail.
Yeah.
Now, what makes Alien Hail different from the music we listen to today? Like, there's
man.
so many bands out there. Explain that.
That's like the number one question that everyone asks everybody, and there's never like a great answer to it, because at the end of the day, nowadays, you know, modern music has been around for so long that you really can't do very much that's actually new within like the confines of music. So you really just have to find other ways to make it yours, number one. And number two, you really have to just not worry too much about that and just sing what you want to sing and do what you want to do and sound like what you want to sound like. And that said, you know, we sound like a rock band, I guess. We sound like an alternative band. But what really makes us different is obviously my voice. Everyone has a different voice. No one has the same voice. And, you know, I don't know, I try not to worry too much about that, more so than I just try to worry about writing songs that I want to write, you know, singing what I want to sing, and just, you know, making it my own like that.
Now, if you want to make it your own, do you put yourselves in a label? Like, what genre do you guys play, or do you step away from that? Like,
Well, you know, everyone's going to say they step away from that, but at the end of the day, you have to be something or else you're nothing. So, I mean, yeah, I guess we're like alternative, kind of experimental, a little bit of punk influence, a little bit of, you know, heavy influence, like metal. And you put all that together, and I guess that's us.
that makes your sound.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of rock music too, and I look up to a lot of musicians, and I'm pretty sure you guys do too. Is there any musicians that you guys try to emulate? Like, what's your like rock role models per se?
Okay. Well, obviously, I love music, and you know, I love everything from older stuff to newer stuff to, you know, jazz, rock, blues. But I mean, some of my favorite musicians, for example, maybe Jimi Hendrix. He's amazing. Just the energy that guy, you could just listen to a recording of him, and what you feel, it's like more than what you feel at some people's live performances, and it's amazing. So I try to bring that kind of I don't even know how to put it, like color and feel to my songs. And then, you know, with a much different genre, I guess, so to speak. Like, other people I like are like the guy from Saves the Day. I don't know if you heard of them. Or Say Anything. That's probably my favorite modern band. I don't know, there's a lot of them.
I know, the list can go on and on.
Yeah.
So going back to Alien Hail, everybody has a different role, and you said you're a vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
Do you write your music too? Like, explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I write, I pretty much write a basic outline of the song, because one thing I really feel like, which is something I learned in my other band, is when too many people are involved trying to write, sometimes it can be good, but a lot of times you just have a lot of ideas clashing, and that was definitely the case in my old band, number one. And number two, being that I was the vocalist in my old band and I wasn't writing all the lyrics, it's like somewhat of a contradiction, or it's a little hard to sing words and try and put feeling and real, like, genuine emphasis into words that you didn't write and don't necessarily understand. So when I started this band, I tried to make it clear that, like, it's nothing against anybody. I respect all of their abilities to write, because they're all excellent musicians, honestly. And you know, that's why they're in the band. But aside from that, I just feel like everything will be much more genuine and much more, like, organic if, you know, if I'm singing words that I wrote and I truly feel and understand, as opposed to singing somebody else's words.
See, that's really unique and authentic. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, Lewis will perform for us Autumn Comes.
My name's Brandon. 9 years old, being alcoholic.
Hi, Brandon.
I'll start drinking with the older kids. And whatever they do, I'll do.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
I know it'll start with alcohol. I'm just not sure how it's gonna end.
And I can taste a smidge of ocean on the breeze. You evoke such old emotion when I breathe. Take me back to Puerto Rico in the summer. And everything made sense and I was younger. Before I understood this autumn air, the false sense of secure New Yorkers find in its despair. I don't care about the winter.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know what that means. It's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Quiet. Stand by. Okay, whenever you're ready, you can go, okay?
Okay.
Can you tell them? Can you tell them they can't? Camera 4 can't hear them.
Can I tell them that? Camera 4 can't hear them. Okay.
They can't hear you. The only way they can hear is through that microphone right now. So either somebody has to go back there or he has to say.
What do you want me to say?
The jib can't hear the director right now, so they're trying to work on it.
Okay.
Just go all the way up and all the way back down.
And I can taste the hints of ocean on the breeze. It evokes such old emotion when I breathe. Take me back to Puerto Rico in the summer, when everything made sense and I was younger. Before I understood this autumn air and the false sense of secure New York is fine in its despair. I don't care about the winter. I don't care about the fall. I don't care about the winter. I don't care about the fall. And I could give a damn about summer or spring. None of it means anything without you, none of it at all. And the dying leaves remind me of your hair. Cinnamon swirls to caramel and brown atop your head, soaring over green and orange eyes, reflecting ancient galaxies you've spat across the sky. Oh God, yes, I would do anything for you. It's true, love for you is all my useless soul produces. We could be something. We could be something. We could be something.
Thank you so much, Louis. How can we reach you?
Facebook.com/AlienHill.
And do you have a YouTube channel?
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back with more of the Bronx Journal.
I'm a single mother of 2 kids. I work a lot. I come home tired. We do miss a lot. He dropped off for a whole month. Sometimes I would talk to him and he wouldn't even turn around and look at me. I would just get frustrated because in any way that I talk to him, it just doesn't go through his head. I didn't give up because there's always hope that they'll snap out of it.
Give your teen the boost they need to graduate. Call 1-877-4A-KID or join us at boostup.org for tips and advice.
Hello and welcome back to the Bronx Journal. I'm Henry Cuevas. Orlando Tobon immigrated from Colombia in 1968 and still works as an account, tax preparer, and travel agent. His office in Jackson Heights is the place for newcomers to find advice, help, and jobs. Mr. Tobon sees himself as representative of the immigrants community as a whole, not just Colombians and Latinos. Tobon links people who might not otherwise have contact with each other: police, schools, social workers, drugs and alcohol treatment centers, lawyers, and employers, to help immigrants avoid exploitation and get the service they need. At 62 years old, he co-produced and acted in the critical acclaimed 2004 film Maria Full of Grace, about the poor Colombian woman exploited to work as a carrier for the Colombian drugs cartels. Orlando Tobon is with us to tell us about how these good Samaritan actions to their community. Hello, Mr. Tobon, and welcome.
Okay, thank you for inviting me.
Who is Don Orlando?
Okay, I'm a regular person. I work like anybody. In most of my time, I try to help my friends and the people. They come especially from my country.
How did you came to this country, to United
I
States?
came in 1968. I remember very well that 17th of February 1968. And I'm very happy. It's 45 years in this country already.
How did you start to help people?
We have a lot of problems in Jackson Heights. Our community is very poor in political representation, and somebody had to do the work. And that's the reason that people come into my office and ask for favors in helping in different situations, and I do it for the people.
Okay, Don Orlando, what is the case that you remember the most?
I have a lot of cases. I remember like 4 or 5 years ago, an old lady, is 82 years old. She came in with drug in the stomach and she died. And that's a terrible situation for me, because when you see somebody like, like 18, 2 years old and die with drug in the stomach, it's incredible. And I start to investigate a little bit about her, and in the end of the everything, I find this, the daughter sent her with the drug in the stomach, and I never forget that case.
Yeah. So besides seeing losing lives like that, what is the other thing what is the difficulty that you see when you're trying to help people?
Okay, the most of the people when die is for us is very complicated, because we have to find the money to send the bodies back to Colombia, and that's very expensive. Most of the times we have to pay close to $8,000, and that's not easy to find the money.
Mm-hmm.
We have to ask almost everybody and collect little by little to complete the $8,000.
Yes, of course. Did you get investigated by the police?
Yes. In the first years, the FBI is behind me, because they say, what this man doing? You know, he claimed the bodies of the people died with drugs and sent it back to his country. And they start to investigate me. But I do something very good because I'm a Christian and I know these people make a terrible mistake to bring drugs in the stomach, and these people pay with their lives. The people die with bring drugs in the stomach. And why we had to, you know, to start to destroy the whole family and everything. And that's why I try to help people to send it back to Colombia.
How many cases?
Many cases.
Count.
In these last 18, 20 years, is a lot of people. A lot of people die with drugs in the stomach.
Okay, we watched a movie, Maria Full of Grace. How did you get involved in that movie?
It's something very good because my idea in after work with the Munes to tell to Americans that the Munes know the person, you know, the monster to bring drugs to this country. And we try to do something to present these people as a very good people, nice people. Not they don't have no record, police records, and the mafia use these people because the problem of these people is they don't have no money. And when somebody coming with drugs, the mafia pay more than $10,000. And you know, in Colombia, you can buy a house for $10,000.
Yeah.
And that's the reason the people with the money can do everything.
How was the process in order to make the movie? How was?
Okay, I remember Joshua Martin, that's the producer of the Maria Full of Grace, coming one day to my office and told me, Orlando, I have an idea about the drugs, the new drugs coming to this country, and try to help me. And then we start to talking, and I give you a lot of connections. He talked to the people in different places, in New York, even in Miami. And then they start to work together.
Okay.
And we do something very good, and I'm very happy in the end of the Maria Full of Grace because they open for me a lot of doors and windows.
Okay.
And my life changed a lot after Maria Full of Grace.
Okay, so let's go to see the movie, the trailer of the movie, and then we come back to still talking with the Orlando Tobón.
Creo que estoy embarazada.
¿Quiere que nos casemos?
¿Cuando usted me ama?
Ay, ya empezó otra vez con
¿Usted
su...
se va a casar con alguien que no ama?
Si vos estás buscando trabajo, de pronto yo te puedo ayudar a conseguir un camellito. Es un camello que es viajante.
Viajando.
Es un trabajo de mula.
¿Y usted cuántas veces ha hecho esto?
2.
¿Y cómo le fue?
Aquí estoy.
Sí, lo que lleva adentro se pierde en el camino. Vamos a su casa y conversamos con su abuelita, con su mamá, con su hermana. ¿Entendió?
Excuse me. Can I see your passport, diversion card, and ticket, please?
Okay, Don Orlando, do you think the movie teaches something?
Yeah, yeah. We try to present in the movie 4 different cases. With the lady had to die, and Wanda, or in the case Maria, bring the drugs.
The drugs.
The other one is
And she was pregnant?
Yeah, she was pregnant, and the other one is catch with the police. And I don't remember exactly what's the other one, but we tried to put the 4 cases together. And they made the difference because the people can understand the problem very good.
After this movie, this excellent movie, do you think more people trying to stop to bring cocaine to USA?
We have a lot of cases. I remember one guy called me one day when I come into my office, and the guy told me, "Can I talk to Orlando?" He said, "Yes." "Can I help you?" Last night I watched the movie, and I tried to intend to bring drugs to New York. When I see the movie, I stop everything. For me, it's a very, very good news because we do something with the movie.
It's okay.
And the first months they stop a little bit, but now they continue to do the same thing.
If the people wants to contact you, there is any information about that? About you have a Facebook, you have a email, you have.
Yeah, a lot of people come into my office. I mean to talk about the movie, or they come in. A lot of people come in, and a lot of people from different countries, and radio station, the TV station, magazines, and everything coming because for the movie.
Okay, so
even we nominated to the Oscar.
Yeah. So if the people needs help and they want to contact you,
they come for
how
help.
They
too.
can contact you?
They call me, and a lot of families they don't know the sons or daughter coming with drugs. And they disappear because they come in with different passports, different names, and sometimes we cannot find the families, and the people start to call me to ask favor, to look for the son or the daughter.
So if the people are looking for jobs or for advice or for a tax preparation, they can come to you.
Yeah, after that, the people come in with different problems, and I try to do something. For me, it's very nice because when you do something for somebody, you feel very good.
Thank you so much, Don Orlando, and thank you for all your help to the community.
Okay, and thank you for inviting me, and you can call me anytime.
Thank you so much, Don Orlando, and we'll be back with more of the Bronx Journal.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital. I feel like a fish with no water.
You know how to react to their asthma attacks. Here's how to prevent them. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor. Because even one attack is one too many.
I'm Helsi Paula. Welcome back to the Bronx Journal. Sometimes traditional recipes taste great, but aren't as healthy as they could be. The Organization of Antojitos y Monadas believes that good health is one of the most important things in life. Their goal is to show people how to remain physically and emotionally healthy by using the right food products. Their CEO is here with us to talk about how and why we should change our unhealthy eating habits. Welcome, Vanny Lantigua.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. The question that we want to answer for, what is Antojitos y Monada and what is the name behind this organization?
Antojitos y Monadas is actually a catering business that started because we saw the need in our community to eat healthier. So basically, when you usually go to a party, you'll find a lot of fried and unhealthy foods. They're delicious, as you said, but they're not necessarily the best for us. So we don't want to take the fun away from anything, from the parties or any kind of reunion, but definitely we have to also make sure we eat the right thing all the time. And that's how Antojitos y Monadas started. I started recreating recipes and having our families and friends and people in the community taste. And they actually started seeing the difference. They started seeing that, oh, this looks the same, but it's really not the same, but it still tastes good.
Healthier.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that Antojitos y Monadas does for the community?
Well, right now we partner with Vive Tu Vida, which is a campaign under the umbrella of Columbia University and New York Presbyterian, where we are delivering the message of choosing a healthier lifestyle and also recreating the recipe. I've become basically the official chef of the campaign. And through this campaign and others as a community group that we created that is called A Healthier You, we are teaching people nutrition and also how to prepare the foods in a healthier way.
So tell us, how do you become part of this important campaign, Vive Tu Vida, Live Your Life, of Columbia University?
Well, I was very lucky to know my friend, Rafael Gomez Luna. He's actually the person who invited me. When he learned about what we did with Antojitos, he thought, oh, this will be great for you, so you should be part of this campaign. And he invited me to one of the meetings. And I fell in love with the whole idea. I am a big fan of eating, but eating healthy.
We all are.
I mean, I love
not
eating.
everybody, but eating,
Yeah.
I think
I love eating, and I love sweets, and I love desserts. So I know that if I don't do something about it, I will be a very obese person. So I decided to start recreating for me and for my family as well.
So we also know you're part of Let's Move, the First Lady campaign, Michelle Obama. How are you part of this campaign, and how does it feel knowing that your organization is part of this important campaign about eating healthy?
Yeah, well, I am very honored. Through Vive Tu Vida, actually, Vive Tu Vida partnered with the Let's Move campaign of the First Lady, Michelle Obama. As you know, one of her main concerns is having families and children in school eating healthier as well. 50% of the kids in the school age are obese. So that's
Wow.
a big, yeah, that's something to really worry about, because with obesity, a lot of other diseases will come. And we have to make sure we start right as younger as possible, so we can really help people to be better and be healthier.
So as a personal experience, how does it feel knowing that you actually help in the community?
Well, it's a great feeling. There's still a lot to do. But I will not get tired. I'll keep working, and we're finding always different ways to help, not only because eating is definitely a very important part, but there's also exercising, yoga, and just getting together with people and doing things together and sharing the experience is good. So it's like, you know, it is everything. It's like choosing healthier and lifestyle for kids, Chuck. It's combining body, mind, spirit, and nutrition.
Well, I know you're going to be preparing us a delicious eggplant panini, so don't move from your seats because we are coming back with more of the Bronx Journal.
I think it breaks a little to the left.
To the right.
Nope, straight.
I told you it was going right.
Get up and play an hour a day. For fun playtime ideas, go online. Just don't stay long.
Hello and welcome back to the Bronx Journal. I'm your host, Helsi Paula, and here with the CEO, Bani La Antigua of Antojitos y Monadas. And what are you preparing here for us today?
Well, this is a little twist to a regular panini. What we're making today is an eggplant panini, and basically what we did is we trying to make things a little bit healthier, and we are using the eggplant instead of the bread, so we can make our paninis.
Do they have, one question, do they have the same minerals? Is it the same thing, or It's just healthier, and that's it. What's the difference
Of bread?
between the bread?
Oh,
and
absolutely. I mean, the eggplant, it's what they called a nightshade vegetable. In the beginning, it used to be toxic, but then they started, growing it in different ways, and now it is so full of vitamins that it's great. It's still high carbohydrate, but it's a lot healthier than bread, definitely. We are using a little bit of breading just to make it crispy. And what we're using here is panko instead of regular bread. Panko is rice bread used a lot in the Japanese cuisine. And what we did is we bake the eggplant, which you can see here. It's already...
It's not fried. It's kind of fried, but we have to explain it's baked. It's baked. Because it's healthier, which is very important.
Antojitos y monadas, we don't fry anything.
We don't fry it. So it's not fried, it's baked.
It's baked. And what we did is you put it in an egg wash, and then put it in the panko and put it in the oven 350 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes until it's fully cooked. One is cooked and you let it cool a little bit, then you can really stuff it with whatever you want. It's like making your own sandwich, whatever you prefer.
So what are the ingredients you're going to be using for us
in
today?
In this case, I went with what we call pico de gallo, which is a black bean type of salsa. We made a sofrito, as you can see there, with the fresh garlic, tomato, and the peppers and onion, and then we put in the boiled black beans and saute everything together. It's delicious, and then it's the protein is really great there. And we're gonna use some low-fat cheese.
I love cheese. I'm a cheese lover.
Well, me too.
But it's healthy.
Yeah, but you have to watch it because a lot of it can be a lot of fattening too. So you have to be careful. And one other thing I wanted to share with you about the eggplant, if you want to lose, or anyone want to lose belly fat, guess what? Eggplant water.
Wow.
Yes. If you drink
So
eggplant water for 7 days, you will be losing about 3 to 4 pounds.
Wow.
It depends. Not everybody's the same, but a lot of people has done it, and it really works.
So after you put the eggplant,
then we're going to make our sandwich.
All right, perfect.
All right.
So show us how to do it.
What we're going to do, we're going to put a little bit of our pico de gallo, which is the main ingredient here is the black beans, which is great for you.
What would be the unhealthy food to compare pico de gallo?
The unhealthy food?
Dun, dun.
That's a good question. I never thought of that.
There's any unhealthy way of doing pico de gallo?
Well, pico de gallo is actually one of the healthiest things. Like in Latin cuisine, we have a lot of things that are really good for us. But of course, if somebody's making pico de gallo and they are frying with lots of oil and using lots of salt, then of course they're going to make it a little bit unhealthier.
Okay.
Yeah, but basically it should be very healthy for us.
So we already add our pico de gallo to our
pico de
little
gallo.
sandwich.
Yeah, and then we're going to add the cheese, of course. We love cheese, don't we? So we're going to do our cheese. It's like your burger, your regular sandwich. If you have a panini press, then you'll put it in the panini press and it's going to press down. If you don't have a panini press, don't sweat it. The slices are already very, very thin, so you just put it back in your
Something
oven.
very important. All this is after the eggplant is 360 on the oven, then you
350.
350.
Yes.
Okay, then you do your little sandwich and then you put it back in the oven.
But in there for about 5 minutes, only until the cheese is melted. Remember, everything is cooked already. So it's just going to get a little bit more crispier, and the cheese is going to melt. Now, like I said, if you have a panini press, then you put it in the panini. What do you do with it? You can eat it just like that.
Like a sandwich.
Like a sandwich. Or if you're entertaining, if you want to have a smaller bites, it's a great hors d'oeuvre.
So this can be used as a meal, as a munchie. How do you use it?
Absolutely. Anywhere you want. It depends on the amount. Like if you want to eat the whole thing, it'll be a nice snack. If you want to have 2 of them, that could be your lunch with a little bit of salad. Or in this case, if you want to make it like a little hors d'oeuvre for entertaining, just to have little bites, then we can do it.
So this will be
like
the final
this
result.
too. That will be the final result. Once it's baked again for the last 5 minutes, then we're going to cut it in smaller pieces. This one you can cut in 4.
I must say I'm not a healthy eating lover, but this looks and smells pretty good. So you guys should try it at home.
You're gonna like it, definitely.
All right.
I encourage everyone to try it at home. It's great for you, and it's delicious.
And it's healthy,
yes,
which is very important.
Yes, and then all we did here, we just wanted to make it pretty because remember it's antojitos y monadas.
So it has to be pretty.
It has to be pretty, absolutely. So we took a little rosemary stem, and we're just gonna use a cherry tomato, and what we're gonna do is just do it again, so you can see it. Yeah, like a little toothpick. That's what we use in the rosemary for here. And then you're just gonna make it look pretty.
So can I taste it real quick?
Yes, you can, absolutely.
Right. So before I taste this, well, thank you so much, Manny, for coming. Thank you for preparing this delicious eggplant panini. And thank you all you for watching the show. See you in another edition of the Bronx Journal.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mm.